Good evening, Kol Torah Kol Chabura. Thank you so very much for joining us as we cruise through the entire Torah Shabbal Peh with the Rambam in our lead, and we are holding deep and close to the end of Hilchos Avodas Kochavin, the various ways of idol worship and all their interesting, or maybe not such interesting, rituals, which we need to learn. And while we learn them, they are Torah Gufa because we're learning what is considered to be Oiver. And actually, today's shir is going to be focused on something called a concept called that there are things that are usher in because we just follow in their paths, and there are things that are usher even more stringent because darkei amoyri, there were superstitions. The Rambam doesn't attribute to them any true power or any true. It doesn't really help, doesn't accomplish anything. But being that those are the ways that amoyri and the pagan nations used to decide, take decisions based on different simanim, signs that they used to get, that has become awesome for you. Let's jump straight inside halacha aleph. One is not allowed to go in the ways and the statutes of those that serve idols, and neither can we make ourselves try even to be similar to them. And that's less than darkei amoyri. This is a stage lower, but even b'chukasem, even loibim malbush, not in the style of dress, loibaseir, not in the type of haircuts. As the pasuk says, loiselchu the chukas hagoy, do not go in the ways or the path of the chukas hagoy, is in the statutes. V'nema b'chukasem loiselechu, v'nema yishamelcha, guard yourself, pen tinok shachem, lest you stumble following them. Now hakol binyan echadu, it's all one concept. Shlo yidamlan, do not be similar to them. Eliyah Yisrael muvdal mehem, he should be separate, distinct from them. Biyadua, he should be known. You could be able to notice him, that he's different. Bimal bushoy ubashar ma'asav, in the way he dresses and the way he carries himself in his actions. Kamoishu muvdal mehem b'madoy v'deyasav, in a similar vein to the way he is different from them in his understandings, his beliefs, and his approach to life. And the same we find, the Abish just says, I have separated you from the nations, and therefore lo yilbash malbush am yuchad lem. Don't dress in clothing that are a specific style unique to them. Do not develop the side of your hair the way you're wearing your hair, like a mushroom and the like, similar to a guy, the way their style. Not to completely shave around and in the middle leave what's called in English a mohawk. This is what halachically we will refer to as a bloiris. Now, and don't from ear to ear this shave and then leave a long ponytail just from the hair from between the ears and above. Don't even build in the same architectural structures and styles that they do. To try to attract the crowd. You get malchus for it. It's love she has with Maisa. Now, and now I'm going to move on. This is not just because of B'chugasem. We're going to see that Bloiris, the mohawk that we described, Goyim would do it to honor their deity, their idol, or their whatever it is. And therefore, a Yid, it's not only for himself not to go in the Chukas HaGoy, he's also not allowed to do it for a Goy. He's joining Avodah Zarah. And therefore, Zok the Rambam, Akum Shem Mistapim Yisrael, a Goy that's taking a haircut by Yiddish barber. Keep on Shigel Blurisa. As soon as he reached this mohawk area, the top, Karev Sholish at Boys L'chol, Ruach, Shemit Tziyad. As soon as he gets within 3 finger breaths from that area, Shemit, he has to take his hand back, let a Goy do with it. It's not for you. You can't do it. Halacha Gimel. Yisrael Sheyakar L'malchus. What happens? And here we're going back. We're not talking about Darkei Avodah Zarah and Darkei Amoyri, rather B'chukoseyim. And here we are more lenient. If a person is doing it not l'chaved any Avodah Zarah, not because he wants to fit in, or not because he wants, rather this is the etiquette when he's going to be sitting in front of a king, and then it's already going to be a sakana. Otherwise, he won't be able to accomplish his mission. So Yisrael Sheyakar L'malchus v'tzarich leisha l'fnei malcheim, and this, if he dresses otherwise, it's derogatory towards the king. It's not like he's careless of how he presents himself. He's not going to be similar to them. A little bit of malbushain. In that case, he's allowed to wear their style. And shave providing he's not touching his payas and zakon. There's no heter for that. Now we're going to move on to menachesh, ma'oinin, various forms of witchcraft and black magic that the Torah specified is also, and the Rambam is going to go through each one on its own and define it. Fascinating. Halacha dal, ein menachshin ka'akum. One is not allowed to do the type of witchcraft called nachash. Shenamar loisa nachshu. K to the one nachash. How does it? What will fall under the category of loisa nachshu? So loisa nachshu is they see something happen, and based on that, they'll do actions in the future. So those that say, if a piece of bread fell out of my mouth, my staff fell out of my hand, I'm not going to this place. Why? Because he sincerely believes if he does go, he will not succeed in doing what he intended to do. So, or similar to Hoyl ve'avar shul, mimini, a fox went through my right side. I'm not leaving my house today. If I do, someone's going to come by that's going to trick me. Or they hear various chirping, and they say, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, all the type of nashka. This, I'm telling you, is an indication. It's a good thing to do. It's not a good day to do that. This chicken that crowed like a arvis in Lashon Oiriv, like a crow, then you have to shecht it. Otherwise, it's going to be bad. And shecht this chicken that kukurikud like a chicken, like a hen, like a male. And here the Rambam touches on a very touchy subject. We'll see that many, not only Rishonim, all the way down to Halacha, he's going to touch on Eved Avram, Eliezer Eved Avram. You're not allowed to make simonim for the future. In the past, you're allowed to. You're allowed to say, since this came to my house, I'm having bracha. That's next sif. And that's allowed according to Rambam. However, according to Rambam, you're not allowed to say, if I do this and this, that's a simon mishamayim that and that should happen. Clearly what Eliezer Eved Avram did, and Rambam asks. He says, when someone places signs for himself, as a davar plani, this happens, I'll do that. If that won't happen, I won't do. It is prohibited. The Rama brings in some Kochavin test that yesh cholkim and hold that a person is allowed to, so to speak, test. We find in the Nevi'im, we find it's going to rain on the dew is going to come down specifically on this guy. And the Rama concludes, however, another halacha it's kedai to know that in regards to halacha we said earlier in halacha daled that if a person says this chicken crowed in a certain way, let's shecht it. So the Rama brings in Kochavin test as well that if a person doesn't say why he's saying to shecht it, that's also okay. If he has that superstition, he's afraid, and have in mind the Yidden were growing in such an environment in the Middle Ages. And the Shach says that the minig is, they say beferish, choose the one that just crowed this way, whatever it indicates, and Halacha, hey. Now, that was all in regards to the past. The Rambam says if you do simanim and you do action based on what the siman came out, you get malchus. And this would apply to many interesting things that Yidden are very makpid on. Zakta halacha, hey, Misha, but we know that, as we mentioned there. Now, Misha Amar, Dira Zusha Banisi, since I built this apartment or this house, Simon Taiv Haisal, I had this positive, I'm having a success. Ish Zusha Nasati, since I married this woman, or Behema Zusha Kanisi, Mubarachas, I said, it's gebenched, brought with it bracha to my life. Meisha Kanisi, Al Sharati, from when I bought it, I became rich. Bechain Asher Latinik, or he asks a child, say a pasuk that you're learning. Imam alei pasuk when a brachas. If the child quotes what he learned today, it's one of the brachas in Torah. So Yisma it's a good simon for me. But he's not doing a specific action based on it. According to the Rambam, this is motor. Called Eluked ben motor. However, lechiven ma'asav le'nim nalasas, because he didn't actively do something based on this pasuk that the child quoted, or he didn't refrain from anything. Allah also simons Allah. He wants to know that things are going to go good for him. The Rambam knows it's kedai, and like the Rama said. Now, Ezu Koisen. So we said Nachash. What's a Koisen? So this is a person that does actions, weird actions, and through that he gets into a trance, and based on that does certain things. He does some odd actions. He should be shocked himself, and his mind takes away. He puts himself in a different state of mind. We call it and all of a sudden he starts saying things that will happen. This will happen. This won't happen. It's appropriate to do this. Whoever invest in, buy a lottery ticket. Yeah. Be very careful. Don't do this. That they start touching sand or stones. He starts roaring at the ground, and he starts shaking, and screaming. He starts, looks in a metal mirror, or in a lamp, or in a flame, and they start envisioning things, and they start saying the future. And he leans on a stick that he's holding and starts hitting either himself or the ground and starts saying, until his mind, he gets into a trance and he starts talking about the future. He asks, so to speak, counsel from himself, and his staff is what's telling it to him. And he's talking against Koisim. Now, not only Asr Liksam, one is not allowed to do that action, Vilisha Lakoisim is also Asr. Now I want to ask, El Shashoy Lakoisim, the difference is Makanais and Makas Mardos, because it's not considered a Maisa, his speech. Speech is called a Maisa when that's what the Torah asks. Mashal Torah Megadif, that's the Maisa of it. But here, the Koisim, the action was what was Asr, as opposed to, we'll soon see, Me'oinin, that's just telling time. So the Dibur itself is already a mice, and therefore you're a chayv min atayra. But person asking the koisim is also only makas ma'asim rabbanan. Koisim atzmei ma'asam ma'asim kol elu k'etzim. If he did an action like yigas malkas shnemar, lo yimatzim b'chabnoi v'goymer koisim k'samin. Now, ezu ma'oinin. The lashon ma'oinin is lashon oina, time. And he having the newspapers as al this time is good. There's a kaleidoscope. Ezu ma'oinin. Elu noisnei itim. They give specific time frames. So Imrim b'tztaglinus, they're saying they're gazing. Yom Pliny, Yom Tov is a good day. Yom Pliny, Ra, it's a bad day to do things. Yom Pliny, Roy Las is Malacha by Malacha Plynus. It's appropriate to do this in this Malacha. And Yom Pliny, Shana Plynus, Chodesh Pliny, Rala, Ladavar Pliny. This is a bad month and the like. These things, says the Rambam, are awesome. Medin Ma'inin. 1 second. Note that we are the Shulchan Aruch brings that the minhag is, and some Kochavin tested base. The minhag is we move into houses certain days of the week, right? Or we start a new malacha dafka on Sheni v'Chamishi, and we refrain from starting malacha on Sheni v'Chamishi. Is I think Tuesday the Rebbe brings in letters that it's a kedai to move into a new house. These are things that we do, and or for example we marry only b'milui halavana. These things, the Mechaber already brings it's the minhag to rely on it, and they make also to Lilmad Rish Chodesh, even though it does a certain simonim, and we write in Igris Chodesh, we get a bracha. It's already a whole nother sugya, like similar to Goyal Lagra, but before you see, you asked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe is answering this the way the Rebbe would give it in a veg. So Kolshkim Kavachaymer. Okay, now halacha ches. Tes. Also, la'oinin. It's prohibited to foretell these times. If you say these lies, that these National people, they envision divrei emes, divrei chacham, they think they're wise and they think it's true. If you did it with the intention that it's mitzad stargazing or gazing, looking in times, or you were mechaven your malacha based on what they predicted. Here gets another big sugya. Someone that means he holds the eyes. He does things so swift. He does these tricks that they think they saw. That you don't see what he's actually doing. And it seems to them like he's doing something supernatural. He's doing something that's wondrous that cannot be done. And he actually didn't do it. The Rambam says he falls under the big controversy in Achronim, even in Rishonim, in regards to all the jugglers that do these tricks, that whether you're allowed to do them or they're mamash alsum in Torah. And many Poiskim, and that seems to be the consensus based on what Am Yisrael is noyig, that being that everybody knows it's a chizas inayim, no one attributes it. He's not using it as a hook to tell you other things. Not getting people used to superstitions and idol worship. Therefore, it is mutter. Halacha yud. And now we're moving on to the next one. This is a people that they do lechashim, right? It's called a choiver. They whisper certain hymns. Ezu choiver zeshem medaber b'dvarim she'ein l'shayin am. He's saying things that are not the natural way of talking. They don't make any sense. So and he entertains the thought and his tipshus that this helps. If you say this and this, you whisper over a snake or al akrab or a scorpion. This scorpion won't hurt. It becomes ice venomous. You say shepsha this and this, the person won't get hurt. They pick up while they're saying this, whether it's a key or a stone. Okay, it's also is prohibited. If he did this shepshing, this whispering, while he was holding something, I feel a herabet's boy, the smallest maisa, is considered an action and raise the loike. He's chayiv in a Torah, therefore he's loike. Now, if he only said words, he was whispering abracadabra. Veloy heinid loy etzba veloy roy. She didn't move, not a finger, not a head. Veloy biyad klum, wasn't holding anything. Vechein amar adam shamar lavachaber oisen koilis. Vuyosh lefanov madam sheyesh loy bazeh hana. The same deal as the person that comes in front of him and says, say these whispers over me and it's going to affect me, but he's not doing any action. He's passively sitting there. He's not chayiv in a Torah, and therefore makinas and max mardos. He's chayiv malchus derabanim nation eshtata b'sichel zachaber. He has joined the tipshus of this witchcraft. However, he didn't do an action, and therefore he's chayiv in derabanim. All the weird and despised names. Lo yareu, says the Rambam. Yidua shitasib is that there's no real power to clip according to the Rambam. Lo yareu, they can't cause harm. They don't bring any good. It's all luft. Halach yidal. Mishan neshachai akra by nachash. Anyone that was bitten by a snake or by a scorpion, mutar luchas amakom anashicha. It talks about a Mishnah Shabbos. One is allowed to whisper over the place of the bite. Why? Vafilu b'Shabbos. Why? From the Rambam's perspective, this is all placebo effect, but you're allowed to say it over him because it strengthens his heart. He believes in it. Doesn't really help anything. Being that he is endangered, they approved of it. Someone that whispers over a wound that he has, and now the Rambam is going to move on to somebody that's using psukim of Torah. He says it doesn't help anything. Now, if a person is davening to have a schus, the schus that feels a beishtein, that's okay. If you think saying these words, that's what's going to cure it, because you say this pasuk, that's already borderline superstition, and the Rambam goes all out against it. Someone whispers over a makkah, but koyre pasuk when a turn is reading different psukim. He says psukim over a child, he shouldn't be scared. He puts a tefillin or a sefer Torah on a child, and this is going to help him sleep. That they fall under all these superstitions and that are also al-shem b'chlal kuifim b'Torah. The mamish denouncing the power of Torah. They look at it like a medication. And the truth is, Torah is medication for the soul. It's metaken miyashar adeit. Shenamar v'yu chayim l'nafshech for your soul. If he's healthy and he's reading, and this in the future will guard him from any harm. In that case, it is mutter. Halacha Yud Gimel. To turn to the dead to ask for counsel. Person that starves himself. And then he goes to sleep overnight in the basic course. The dead person should come to him and notify him and respond to the question he asked. Do it differently. They put on special garbs. They say certain words. Certain incense. They sleep alone. You should come and talk to him. If you do it in action, in order for a mace to come and talk to you, like it. You get malchus now. Doirish is the action of turning to them and requesting, asking for them. Now, this brought the whole sugya, whether you're allowed to go to kivrei tzadikim, is that called Doirish al Mason, where you have you have already Rishonim that say the Maril or Rishon, Mari Molin, the one that codified all the Minhagi Rishonim, for all the killers of the Goyim already that started being destroyed. The same Maril that says Makbin Koiloi, Shem Hagadol, Migdal Ois Shem Hagadol, or the Maril that says Balaylahu Magbias Koiloi. Many Minhagim we have from the Maril. So Maril already, he says that if a person goes to be Meshatech on Kvarim, similar to what Yeshua and Kalev did, so you're allowed to, if you're not davening to them, you're davening to the Eibishter, and because their place is a Makom Kaddish, that's from Rishonim. But then already the Pri Megadim already brings that if you look at Nusach HaMayin Lashon, it's pretty straightforward. It's not davening because of the place, rather it is it's asking for them to plead by the Eibishter on your behalf. They have that schusim, and that's totally mutter. He says, but that's b'tanai that you're not talking to them as in them. You're asking them to plead on your behalf, b'koyach HaKedusha, b'koyach the Eibishter, which is pashut. That everybody that goes to a tzaddik, that's he has in mind, the kedusha of the tzaddik, which is aims with the Eibishter. Halacha tes yudalit. Now, also lisho bal oiv or bal yidayni, which we already described earlier. Oiv and yidayni is they chayish shma yadua, or he would use a skull and different environment. They would talk while the sound would come through it like a ventriloquist, similar. So they themselves are not just malchus; they are stoned. However, a person that asks of them is over on ashara on a lab, makinas because lav shem b'maisav. Kivin ma'isa, but also if he actually did actions based on what they told him, in that case, like he gets malchus as well. Yes, b'maisav. Now we're moving on to machashiv, witchcraft. Chayiv, the machashiv himself is chayiv skila, is stoned. Bush also ma'isa kshav, however, providing that he actually did an action of witchcraft. If he didn't do a real action, it looked like he made something happen. It looked like he took a rabbit out of a hat. There was no rabbit in the hat. He made it look. It was a pocket. It was in whatever it is. That means he shows if he did something and he didn't really do it, then like makas ma'adas according to the Rambam, like we said earlier. The lav shenitin la'azharas Mrs. Bezdin, if it's a lo yimatzabcha, it's warning in order that you shouldn't lead to Mrs. Bezdin. So ein loikinol shnever machshev lo yisachayim. Now, halach zayin, final halach of today, says the Rambam and reiterates what he mentioned earlier. Dvarim elu, all these chayver and einin menachesh and oiv yidayni, dvarim elu kulan divrei sheker v'chazavhem. They're false. They are narishka. They're all lies. V'heim shehito b'hem oiv dikav makadmoinim. The initial, earliest idol worshippers, they misleaded the goyar, all the nations of the lands. This is all to trick them and show them as if they're able to do supernatural things, to have to follow them and gain a following. The Ein Roli Yisrael, Shem Chacham Chugam, he says, Pasha, forget about the Isra. It's a pasnish for a Yid. It's a wise manly mashal by Baal Mel to be drawn after these narishkeit. The Loi Lahalis al Leiv, not only that, not even to consider and to reckon with the fact that they have any power. Sheesh Te'elzman, they have bring some benefit. Shenema Kiloi Nachas B'Yakov. It doesn't find itself between Yid and a Menachesh. He would even think that a Menachesh is like Kesam Yisrael. V'nema Ki Hagoyim Elash Ta'yer Shayisam Almaynu L'Kaisim Yishmo. That the land that you're inheriting it from those that they would go to Ma'inin and Kaismim. The Ata Loiken, and you are not that type of people. The Cholam Amin Dvar Me'elu Keizman, anyone that does believe in it, Machashe believe it, and entertains the thought in his heart, that emotion, Shehem Emes or Dvar Chachma, that there's some truth to it and there's some wisdom to it. Aval Torah is sartan, and the Torah is trying to Kilu doesn't want to give us the truth, like the Nachash told Chava, Yisum Kelikim, they doesn't want you because otherwise he's going to be b'five. Ein an element aschalim, so Narisha people, Machashe das, lacking wisdom. Ubechlal Nashim Aktanim, saying that the Muslim, like the women and children that don't have strong understanding. Abala Chachma, somebody that's wise, or even those that are sincere and follow the Eibush Yedu Bereis Brewers, they'll accept complete, clear rayas. Whatever the Torah asks is because there's the Torah is shlema the kulu. There's also no wisdom there. It's not helpful. It's not. And those imbeciles followed. They're not just and left the pathways of truth in order to follow these narishkat to try to gain and believe that it would gain. Therefore, Torah, when it told us to us, she's here, it says the Torah's suggestion, be complete, be sincere with the Eibishter, your God. We have now completed Perek Yud Aleph. Tomorrow we have the final Perek of Hilchas of Avodas Kochavin, and we'll lead straight into Tshuva. Yeshakoyach Dir Chabura for being with us. It's a real honor and schus. Thank you so very much. Yeshakoyach Reb Levi for all your back end work.